And general time, you finish there. Really? Yeah.
Some people do a lot of questions, so that's good. Yeah. 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 Okay, before we get to this, you could just approve it with corrections. COTAS is KOTAS.
KOTAS.
Yes.
Is that a name?
That's on seven,
Oh, okay,
page 7.
okay. Yeah, sometimes I have to guess at the names. Sometimes I look up in the things for the.
That's
So how long have you been doing it? 7 days or?
It's 12 days.
Wow, days. How many events?
5.
That's like. Voted my short report. Stay there for 2 days.
No, not 2 days, because we have 4 days at sea.
Do you?
So, you know, I say, same kid, they,
Yeah.
New York house.
Yeah.
And it's cute. Same kid, same kid.
Yeah.
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 And then end up in, Dominican Republic. And then come back, those 2 days, 3 days.
Well, that's your name.
That's true.
It's true. Yeah.
I'm so long, but I'm not hearing because I forget.
Where I was on. It was on. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah. So, yeah, she. She.
I will need you. That's really
Watching them for hours. Yeah, well, we need to do cool and get them this stuff, but.
All right, folks, it is 7:00. I will go ahead and call this meeting to order.
Recording in progress.
We can start with a moment of silence, please. And if we can stay for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a reminder, if you have a cell phone on you, please make sure that it is either off or on silent. City Clerk, may I go ahead and take roll call for us, please?
Councilmember Williams. Reed. Jackson.
Here.
Lawler.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. Do you have a motion to approve of the agenda?
So. Or.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
We will start our evening with a proclamation for the Water and Wastewater Professionals Workforce Week.
I got a question. We got two agendas. We got one that came in here on the desk, and it was one that is in our packet.
Yeah.
Check the date.
I got the date,
Okay. So, no, I'm asking because there's not one over here.
because it said December the 18th, and then one said December the 18th.
For the wastewater professionals workforce week, which is December 11th through the 17th, 2023. Whereas the annual water and wastewater professionals workforce week honors those highly trained and certified operators, technicians, administrative professionals, and other specialists devoted to Michigan communities' water infrastructure. And whereas we honor the dedication of the highly trained operators, technicians, administrative professionals, and all other specialists who work to ensure Michigan communities have safe and reliable drinking water, and that rivers and lakes are both fishable and swimmable. And whereas Michigan's water industry is essential to the health and success of our state, and the water and wastewater professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities. And whereas the water and wastewater professionals' mission overall is to protect the public health, quality of life, and well-being of the people of Michigan. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Victoria Garcia Snyder, mayor of the city of Albion, do recognize December 11th through December 17th, 2023 as Water and Wastewater Professionals Workforce Week, and extend appreciation to our municipal water and wastewater workers for the services they perform and their dedication to the communities they represent. So this, as well as acknowledgement to our very own city employees that work in this field to make sure that our water is safe and drinkable. So we appreciate all that they do. Public comments, if there is anybody within the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to an agenda item, you may do so at this time, and 3 minutes is yours.
Thank you. My name is David Roush. I live at 5 Locust Court. In my opinion, you have and continue to violate the civil rights of competent female public servants of color. I have no expectation that you will agree with me. After all, none of you knows what my work has been over the past several decades. First, I am not an attorney, but I work for them. Most are litigation specialists or trial attorneys in the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice. Following my tenure with Michigan State University School of Criminal Justice, I became one of the U.S. Department of Justice's frequently used consultants, conducting investigations, authoring fact-finding letters, crafting consent decrees, coordinating compliance monitoring, and serving as an expert witness. I have testified before the United States District Court in 4 of 18 expert witness cases. Department of Justice attorneys win a lot. To ensure the strongest possible case, they have been pretty clear with us about the issues, patterns, and practices that tend to substantiate civil rights violations. I'm dumbfounded at how effectively you, out of all of Albion's citizens, seem to be behaving as if your marching orders come directly from our former president. For example, stonewalling and explaining your motives, purposes, and objectives, refusing to follow the advice of counsel whenever you don't like the advice, trampling on fundamental fairness, weaponizing personnel policy originally intended for far more egregious behaviors, and abusing sanctions in a way that mirrors uses of force that are both inappropriate and excessive to the circumstances. Mark Garrison gave you some good advice. Power is a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. My final thought is about Albion's continued success and comes from Sergeant Phil Esterhaus. Be careful out there. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Dave Atchison, I live here in Albion. When I'm talking about the elephant in the room, which is why, trying to figure that out. I think it's pretty clear cut what's happening. They've been trying to get rid of you so they can load the EDC up with their hand-chosen folks, because there's money at stake. They don't want their hands on that money. So if anybody hasn't figured out, that is what's going on, among other things. There's an old phrase, by hook or by crook. They got hooks, and they're crooks. What's a crook? That's a criminal, somebody violates the law. Have these fine upstanding council members violated the law? Yeah, 2 of them, plus our city charter, which is a misdemeanor violation. EDC bylaws. Oh, they're gonna take the mayor to task with the ethics ordinance. We have a longstanding member of council who took it upon herself to show up and make public comments at the EDC board meetings in an overt attempt to influence their decisions in the proceedings, outrouting petitions to get signatures. Direct violation of the city ordinance. Not permitted to do that, but of course, rules and whatnot have a little impact on these folks because they're above the law. And we'll all pray about it, but God is watching, which includes all of your gods, if you really have one. It's just a very sad state of affairs that you, who conspired together to violate 2 state laws, our city charter, would then go, oh my goodness, the mayor endorsed an attempt to bring money into the city. Now, I believe y'all kind of voted and authorizes the city manager to pursue that. But they didn't say, Mother, may I, so you're gonna try to hammer her. I just think it's very telling of your lack of integrity, total lack of honor, and your corrupt intentions. So you're after the money, you may get it, but karma will come back to haunt you. And I pity you in your souls, what's left of them. Oh, and talking about water, that was really timely, because it reminds me of Flint, and that's where this community is headed. No respect, no integrity, it's just a joke. Yeah, your water. What do you think?
Would anybody else like to stand and address council at this time? All right. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Support. City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed, Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Motion to adjourn, to go into closed session, 7:10 p.m. Right, I'll go ahead and reconvene at 7:39 PM. Roll call.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Here.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Here.
French,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
and Mayor Snyder.
Here. In your packets, you have the minutes to our December 2nd special meeting, December 4th study session, and the December 4th regular session minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move. Support.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Next, we are going to be asked to approve resolution 2023-36. The resolution to go into service agreement for the health reimbursement account. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Administrator?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I shared in our study session, we need to reestablish our health reimbursement account or our HRA account. This is for employees or spouses who are 65 and older and are eligible for Medicare. When you reach that point, you no longer are eligible to have an HSA account, a health savings account, which we offer to all employees. So going into 2024, we will have employees and or a spouse who is eligible to take advantage of this HRA account, and ours has been dormant for a few years because we've never had anyone in that account. So we're just looking to reestablish this with basic, looking for approval.
Any questions for city administrator? City clerk Miller?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. And then I'll turn this item over to Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Motion to, approve resolution 2023-37, a resolution of censure of Mayor Victoria Steiner of violations of the city's ethics and ordinance. Need approval?
So move.
Second. City of Albion Resolution 2023-37, a resolution of censure of Mayor Victoria Garcia Snyder for the violations of the city's ethics ordinance. Background and purpose. The file allegations, allegations of ethic violations by Mayor Victoria Garcia Snyder. The Albion City Council conducted an ethics ordinance hearing on December the 2nd, 2023, during which the allegations were read. Evidence was presented, and both city council members and Mayor Snyder were able to ask questions. By a majority vote of the council, Mayor Snyder was found to have violated 3 sections of the ethics ordinance and was punished by a fine and other penalties. This resolution constitutes the censure penalty. Councilmember Blank moved, supported by Councilmember Blank to approve the following resolution. Whereas on October 11, 2023, Mayor Snyder attempted to assist in opposing legitimate in an ongoing legal dispute with the city, Ed Haas, by forwarding information pertaining to EDC and city business in hopes of aiding Haas in obtaining an injunction against the city, despite the city already having successfully defeated on October the 3rd, 2023, a prior injunction attempted by Haas, and whereas Mayor Snyder used her personal email account and not her city-issued email account to send the email to Ed Haas and others. And whereas without securing a vote of approval by a majority vote of the city council, Mayor Snyder submitted a grant support letter speaking on behalf of the city council and failed to notify city council even after having submitted the unauthorized letter. And whereas the Albion City Council held an ethics ordinance hearing as outlined in the ethic ordinance. After the required notifications and heard evidence and allowed for responses by and evidence from council members and Mayor Snyder. And whereas the Albion City Council by majority voted in consideration of the evidence and testimony found Mayor Snyder to have violated 3 different sections of the ethic ordinance, which were as follows. Section A, acting in the public interest. Violation 1, level 1 violation, Mayor Snyder failed to act in the public interest by attempting to aid an opposing litigant in his lawsuit against the city. Section B, compliance with the law. Level 2 violation, Mayor Snyder failed to comply with the law by violating Revolution 2019 through 29, which requires the use of city-issued email accounts by members. The council, when discussing public business, and subverted the purpose of Michigan's Freedom of Information Act that guarantees that citizens have access to public records. Section 8, representation of private interests, level 2 violation. Mayor Snyder stated council support for a grant through a letter that council had not seen nor approved as required by the city charter that states the vote of at least 4 members shall be required for official action by the council unless a larger majority is required by law. And whereas the Albion City Council by a majority voted approved the following penalties after determining that Mayor Snyder violated 3 sections of the ethics ordinance. A total of $700, 100 fine for the level 1 violation, and 300 fines for the 2 level 2 violations to be paid to the city within 30 calendar days from December 2nd, 2023. A formal resolution of censure, which includes a request for the mayor's resignation. Publications of the resolution in full, the Reporter newspaper, prohibiting Mayor Snyder from participating in any closed sessions related to the Haas litigation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Albion City Council hereby expresses its strongest disappointment and disapproval of the unethical behavior of Mayor Victoria Garcia Snyder because while holding the highest office of public trust in our local government, she has repeatedly failed to work within the essential boundaries of her role by making decisions outside of her authority, excluding her council colleagues from critical information, working with private interests in the community outside of the processes that ensure transparency and fair decision-making, and has potentially increased the city's financial liability by interfering with an active lawsuit, and be it further resolved that the Albion City Council soberly requests Mayor Snyder to submit her resignation as mayor in light of the truly subversive and destabilizing nature of her behavior that hinders the accountable functioning of our council manager form of government, and that sabotages transparency by interfering with the public's right to access public records, and be it further resolved that the Albion City Council prohibits Mayor Snyder from participating in closed sessions related to Haas litigation until acting on a formal opinion from its litigation counsel, Stephanie Schultz, and
Berzik.
thank you, Berzik Rose, and by a majority vote, the council determines otherwise, I here certify that the above resolution was adopted on in a regular session of the Albion City Council, and this is true copy of this resolution.
Well, it should,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Councilman.
Thank you so much. So when, during this, is the mayor not supposed to step down or is she able to sit right there?
well, so under Robert's rules, when the issue pertains specifically to the mayor pro tem chairs the meeting. I mean, whether they want to, whether the pro tem wants to sit over.
Step down, don't you have to step down, no? Right? So she can take over the meeting?
So I mean, I can tell you this, so the pro tem chairs the meeting.
Uh-huh.
Whether or not you switch seats, I think is incidental, I don't know, I mean, the pro tem controls the meeting for this agenda.
Okay, I'm just asking. So I know the rules, that's it.
Any other discussion? Yeah, Councilman.
Thank you. I'm reading the first resolve. Excluding her council colleagues from critical information, working with private interests in the community outside of the processes that ensure transparency and fair decision making and have potentially increased the city's financial liability by interfering with an active lawsuit. My question for the four of you, who wrote this? Where you accuse your mayor of a lack of transparency, you yourself of being non-transparent. Who wrote this?
Didn't the information come from Councilwoman Hall?
Who wrote this is a different question.
So I can't write it,
I'm asking, did you write it?
it's my words.
Did you
Those
write
are
it?
my words.
Did you write it?
Did the engineer write his stuff?
Did you write it?
Those are my words.
See, you're not answering the question. You're being
Well,
evasive.
that's the question, that's the answer that I'm gonna give you because.
And so you're not
It
being,
does not pertain to
At-
saying yes or no. to
it's
this
about,
resolution.
it's about transparency. It's
Point
about-
of order, because that's not what we're talking about right now, so.
That's not called who wrote it.
That's not where we at. He asked the question, she answered,
But she didn't answer me.
I did.
but that's not where we at around the resolution.
All I'm asking is, in the interest of transparency and working with working with private interests in the community, I want to know who the private interests are who helped you write this resolution.
I'm not smart enough to write one. Cause
I'm not-
that's what I'm getting from you. That's what
I'm
I'm
not,
getting from you, and I'm
Go
not.
ahead. Point of order.
considering myself because you disagree with this.
Point of order, both of
Disagree with
you,
it.
right now, go ahead, council. I mean,
I'm just gonna point out to council, there was a point of order, the chair made a ruling on a point of order as a matter of procedure. The point of order, the chair's ruling on the point of order is the decision unless a member of council elects to appeal the chair's decision, so.
second, I have a second point not related. This is for Colin. Is a resolution a law?
So a resolution is a statement of policy. So if you look at our council rules, I'm fairly certain it says in our council rules that it's basically policy decisions are made by resolution, so, as a generalized definition, a resolution is a statement of policy on behalf of the council for whether to proceed with an action or not proceed with an action or things of that nature.
Right, so all I'm arguing in section B is that the wording should be compliance with council policy rather than the law, which would make this a level 1 violation, not a level 2 violation. Because whether we use email, our private or our city council email, is not a violation of FOIA unless a FOIA request has come through and the person has not shared those emails. So this is not a violation of the law. I would also argue that you should strike the sentence about, on the second page, that talks about, that she's in violation of FOIA. Because she's not in violation of FOIA unless she refuses to turn over all relevant email regarding a particular topic, and it doesn't matter the origin. So this is a violation of council policy. It is not a violation of FOIA.
I'm sorry. Yes, Councilwoman Long.
Thank you so much. I'm just gonna say this like this. I'm not a dummy. I push myself to the limit to learn my job in government. I think I did a very good job. But with the fake news, a lot of motivations about me, what I didn't right, what I did right. I know I'm capable of writing anything that I want to, because my grandfather said if I could read, I can read. And I can definitely read. So I'm saying this because if I use my personal email to help somebody that'll be in litigation, I would definitely be violating the code of ethics. We all know the rules. We all know that in our trainings, the first rule is one-on-one. We know not to use our emails. We know that, and you do too. We learned that. You need to know our roles, right? Our city manager has provided us trainings so that we will know our roles. We've been doing this for years. I'm speaking on how many years you and I have been on council. We've been doing this for years. And we all know that you cannot speak for others. We all know that. What if there's a match? And the people in my precinct, they basically live off of fixed income. What if they can't afford it? So that's what I'm looking for, affordable. One that people in my precinct can afford. I don't know about other precincts. So please don't degrade me. Please, don't do that. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
It was never my intention, and I apologize if you feel degraded. I asked a question, you did not answer it.
You realize what I think I did, other than doing it, because it had nothing to do with my resolution. But if you want to get some.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman James.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council, what's the policy as far as, communications about city business and the use of, emails?
There was a resolution adopted several years ago that indicates that if you're dealing with city business, it should be done through official city email.
And that was through resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Does the FOIA, how does that correlate with the FOIA policy? The Freedom of Information Act. Is it directly in alignment with that policy? Or do they have conflicting, is it conflicting?
So the way that the Freedom of Information Act is written, it's a document production statute. So it can encompass anything that meets the definition under the state statute as a public record. So it usually encompasses, like, I will use the emails as an example, it can encompass public emails on a public email server. It can also, under certain circumstances, also cover emails done on a private server, a private email account. If it's about city business and it's kept on a city server, even though it's on a private. So it depends on the circumstances. But what method it's transmitted by isn't determinative of whether or not it is or is not a public record.
Okay, now, what was discussed here was subversion of that. If I wanted to subvert the FOIA process and also, public record, would you agree that using my personal email would probably be the best way to do it? Or another form of communication?
It could be, it would depend on if we received a FOIA request and if that record existed and it was not turned over pursuant to a FOIA request, then yes, it could be.
Go ahead, Councilman Humphrey.
Sure.
I would just like to say, I agree with Councilwoman Long. When I walked in tonight, Mr. French automatically asked me, could I change, had I read my thing, and could I vote for the mayor not to be censured? I don't think he should have that right to question other people on their vote or call them not capable of doing whatever it is that was done. It's more like you should mind your business, and that's what I said. You should mind your business and I'll take care of mine. And it would behoove you to probably start doing that. I don't like being questioned about what I do. It's none of your business.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes, as I read through this a couple of different times, I'm wondering, to our attorney, this could be handled differently in terms of putting specific wording or revising a policy to include specific language rather than going to this extent. Would that have been a possibility?
In terms of the content of the resolution of censure, council can determine.
How far you want to go?
Basically, council can determine its content, is the short answer to your question.
So it could have been a revision of the policy for understanding, or it could have been throwing the X. In terms of the levels, going to as many levels as possible.
A resolution of censure can encompass basically anything that the council votes it to contain.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Ms.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis, was there something specifically that you were talking about, or just the process altogether?
The process.
Okay.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Colin, the level 2 violation is level 2 in accordance with the, ethics violation, correct?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
It's a level 2 violation, per the ethics violation.
So if council finds a violation of section B, it would be a level 2 violation, yes.
Right. So, the compliance with the law, is it that it's not in compliance with the law, and it's in compliance, and it's also not in compliance with the ethics, or is the law not something that's pertinent to this topic?
So what subsection B is what was voted on at the special meeting on December 2nd, is council voted that they believe that there was that the mayor failed to comply with either the laws of the United States, the state of Michigan, or the city of Albion in the performance of public duties.
Right,
That's what a violation of subsection B is,
right,
and that is a level 2 violation.
thank you.
Any other discussion? Chair?
Councilmember Reed. What are we voting on? Approving the resolution. Under what?
Can you do an overview?
Yes, so what we're doing, Councilman Reed, is we are agreeing to the resolution, so she's taking a vote on this, yes or no.
Yes. Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No,
French,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
Yeah. The mayor did not want any.
Right, next we have the approval of the Kennedy Street speed limit signs. And there's other stuff that is done, Chief kept made us aware that this area has been without speed limit signs, so there will be 3 going up. And then as well, we have been requested to also put the radar sign up in that area when time allows. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
yes,
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. We have a motion to amend the EDC's 23 budget.
So moved.
Or.
Ms. Ammerman, would you like to come up and give us some insight on the amendments that are being asked?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. We're amending the FY 23 budget for the EDC, the TIPA, the brownfield, and the revolving loan fund. We did not have this done in time to be amended with the rest of your amendments, and we apologize for that. So tonight, we bring it to you, the overall increase in revenue. If you look on page 30, we have increased the revenue because you know that there's extra dollars coming in from the Marriott project that are coming into the revolving loan fund to be used for further development. Other than that, it's pretty much a balanced budget amendment. The only thing that was a significant increase, but it was offset by other decreases, was the severance payment that went out, that was not, obviously not budgeted. So, but the overall increase is, just due to the fact that we have the dollars coming in from the Marriott that we had not budgeted. I don't know if you have any questions.
President Davis?
so you're saying the Marriott project, which is a grant, a state grant, right?
So it's not, so it's, that's okay. I could have done a better job. The Marriott project is a 12-year brownfield project, and since the developer's been paid off, the TIFA, the incremental tax that we're collecting, passes through, into the revolving loan fund, so we can use the loan out to new development projects. And we had forgotten to budget for that revenue, and so that's really the difference between the original budget and the current budget.
And what is with the severance, increase? Where is that coming from again?
Where is it on the sheet or, sorry? it's in the salaries line, but because there's other positions that weren't filled, you don't see the total delta. Because there were other positions we didn't use, so some salaries were lowered and then the severance was raised, but the difference is not significant.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. City Clerk Wheeler?
Councilmember Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed, Jackson,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Next is our discussion for the proposed industrial development district. Who else would have to? Oh.
Thank you again. I appreciate a little bit of time tonight. It's somewhat out of order from, I think, what you've typically done, but I'm trying to be a little more proactive with communication. So we have an upcoming industrial development district request coming in from Colson Group. They are the parent company for Albion Industries and they just recently purchased 1101 Industrial Boulevard, out in the industrial park. And they will be both renovating the current 20,000 square feet that are there, and they will also be constructing 80 to 100,000 more. In the course of that process, they will be adding 64 jobs and spending $12 million for their capital project. Of that 12 million, about 7 will be real estate investment and about 5 will be equipment investments. So we are bringing forward 2 requests. One is ready to go to the EDC board on January 11th, and then it would come here. And that is the industrial development district. And that will be what will be the district that has to be created. Then they can ask for an IFT for the new construction. We also are working on a plant redevelopment district, and that is the type of district that you create so that you can then renovate a current building. So they are in the process of getting a survey done because they have to have a survey with a new legal description. And then that district will be just really the footprint of the current building. So there'll be 2 districts created, and then the IDD can actually be larger than just Colson's investment. So we are talking with other members of the other neighbors around their building to see if anybody else wants to get involved, because this would be a great time for them to jump in and create that bigger district for future development. So we're very excited. This has been in the works for a bit. So we're coming to just give you a heads up because you may be hearing about it in the marketplace, and I wouldn't want you to feel like we hadn't shared what was happening. So pretty exciting. They'll in the next year and a half or so be moving their operations from the Clark Street location over to the industrial park. And then we'll have ability to do something new with the Clark Street location. So hopefully we're creating some good domino effects and we're getting a lot of good, generating some new business and moving forward. So pretty exciting.
Councilman French.
So you're creating a district in their existing building that they're gonna then vacate?
No, and we're creating the district in the new, in the new area where they just purchased.
Okay, okay. And that's in the existing industrial park?
Right, 15 acres.
I'd rather have 15 acres there. So is there a way to advantage that sort of districting to the existing plant that they have to help a future business move into that?
Well, so we have a huge plan for all of that, where the 425 is kind of parked in the middle of that area just north of East Michigan. What we have been working closely with, some of our partners on and with the state is expanding that out and reaching all the way over to Clark if possible.
Okay.
So yes, we have huge momentum and incentives to do very similar work there. So we would, and there's there are limitations. For example, your IDD has to be issued within 6 months of breaking ground, those kind of things. So we have to, like, we can't start that yet. The EDC has been working very closely on land accumulation. So we're working on the accumulation of, we already have one component there, and we are working with the landowners around Ed Haas and the other ones that own property there. So our goal is to expand that out and expand the city's footprint really, because we would be buying it on behalf of future. So the goal is to make sure all of that lands into a new industrial park, which then gives incentives for the building. So that's the long-term strategy in the new park.
Right, it's the trying to connect the old stuff to the new. that-
Yeah,
that
yeah.
We have to worry about, right?
Well, I don't wanna leave anybody out.
Right, and
So-
we don't wanna hollow ourselves out.
I sure don't,
Yeah,
right?
Wanna make sure that.
So even though it's the 425 was here, I definitely am trying to get all the way over to Clark, you know, where Challenger Communications is.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be nice to pick all that up.
Mhm.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, excellent, thank you.
Sure. Councilman Davis?
Yes, you mentioned 64 jobs, what, types of jobs were there?
I would assume they're plant jobs, because I don't think they would bring a whole lot more administration here, because they're such a big company, so I would assume they would be, plant jobs.
Is there training available for those jobs?
So interesting you should ask, because, so Colson recently was awarded through the Going Pro program, through the state of Michigan, $315,000 for apprenticeship work. Now, they do have another location here in Michigan, so I'm not suggesting that's all here in Albion, but they are gearing up to do a lot of training for that new facility.
I'm aware too, that there are also union jobs, good paying union jobs there too. It's
Yeah.
good for the community.
Yeah.
Good for the city.
Yeah, and so.
Did you work on that, the job readiness program with them as well?
Ashley Loviano does that with the, Michigan Works.
Okay.
So yeah, she does the Going Pro applications, and Mark Gettle also helps with those, so we have team members that do that work.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, next is our discussion and EDC board vacancies. Councilwoman Reagan.
Okay, before we break down the EDC, I was working with Director Bridgie Emmerman on a grant to develop the McCullough Park area into a T-ball park, as well as continue to make improvements on the walking path that is, built coming through it. I'm also on the land bank and know that one of the things that they were trying to do is to make community-friendly spaces in city neighborhoods like the McCall Park area and the west side entrance of it, at the west side entrance of Albion. A grant had been written and sent in, but after the office was closed, there was no one there to assist. Should there be a question or something to be answered, follow up on anything? We have no information on anything, and our work on the project must start over again. I have been most of the EDC meetings, and it's a shame to see how our city is functioning. No people have been appointed, even though they have applied and are qualified to fill the seats on the EDC board. They have been overlooked, put on hold, and not even told while the five on the board struggle to keep things going. I pray something will soon happen that helps Albion's people have an opportunity to live in a city which appreciates their choosing to live here and support the city. I would like to know why those that have applied has not been given the opportunity to fill a seat on the board, and when does the mayor plan on doing what her position was assigned her to do? I know of a couple of people that have asked me, when are they going to fill the seats? They've asked because they've applied over 8 months ago. to be on the EDC board and still have not been placed. And when you go to the meetings, you've got 5 people there and they're being worked to pieces. And they're saying, well, I can't handle anymore, I can't do anymore. And so I'm just wondering, when are we gonna fill the seats on the EDC board so that we have people who can continue to push ahead, because there's a lot that EDC needs to be doing.
Councilwoman, Wallace?
Thank you so much. Colin, when is the, earliest, date that we can fill seats? I just want to be clear, because I know we litigation rate or out of litigation. Just give us some direction, please.
I mean, hypothetically, the seats can be filled at any time.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you.
Mayor Tim Beck?
Yeah, so, I mean, even with those 4 seats, I don't know if they're being held it out, but there's a total of what, is it 13? Or 11, 12? That's close to 11, okay. So with the 5 plus the 4, that's 9, plus there's at least 2 that could be filled. I guess it's kind of how I see it, at least 2 could be filled if we're holding the 4 for something, I don't know.
Is it,
Councilwoman Wallace?
thank you so much. Is there a reason why we're not filling them at this point?
So kind of going along with what I said before with the pending litigation, hypothetically speaking, if the judge rules in favor of Mr. Haas and those members get placed back on the board, and if we fill all the seats, then who's to go? So that would be a dilemma, correct?
Not correct.
Saving.
We have additional seats that haven't been filled as well. Reserve those other seats at your leisure if you chose. I can see you having a valid point, but additional seats were added and they haven't been filled either.
Any other comments?
Did you just answer this question? The question?
I just wanna know when it's gonna be filled, because I called and I kept trying to find out. Now, as far as the T-ball, thing goes, we had worked out a plan, we had all the prices and everything all together. We had wrote, Mrs. Zimmerman had wrote up the thing, we presented it. But because there was nobody there to do anything, it's going down the drain. So now that's got to all be started over again. And the prices have changed since coming into the new year. Because at the end of the year, the companies cut the prices on their materials. But when you get into January, they're sky high again. So I just want to know, when are we going to get ourselves straightened out so that we can get to moving forward instead of backwards? That's right.
Any other comments? Future agenda items. Anything council would see on a future agenda? Councilman French?
So, next time we meet first in January, we probably should go about reviewing our strategic plan and goals, and what we're gonna prioritize for the 2024 year. That about right?
I think we typically do that in February,
We didn't do that until, April of last year.
April, yeah, so sooner than later.
Because it's usually set and kind of ties into my evaluations, my contract starts in March. However, I'm open to whatever direction you guys want. We can, review what our current goals are, and if you wanna add on, build, or.
If the agenda's not heavy. You know,
You wanna do it right at the start of the year?
why not?
I'm
It's
okay.
tied to our budget, right? So, yes.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Any other agenda items?
Well, can I touch on it again? Before we did, strategic planning sessions on the weekend, like Saturday, that's what we're considering again?
Yeah, I mean,
Doing it like that?
I what I was thinking was, is that we have a 3-year strategic plan, we're in year 3, right?
Oh, you're talking about the comprehensive plan?
Isn't that the same? I'm sorry.
No.
I'm using the wrong word. So I predates the,
Yeah, so we do yearly goals.
and that's the Saturday you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's what we went over, in the.
Yeah, we did in November, yeah.
So, yeah, that takes place on a Saturday, that's typically, what, 4 hours?
Oh, let's hope not. But that's pretty work we did.
Yeah, but, we typically bring somebody in to help us with that as well, and that's what I'm saying, it's a lot of.
Yeah, so that may be a function of when we can get to that.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts,
Okay.
but I'm on board with you, let's do it sooner than later if we can.
So we can possibly send out a doodle poll, yeah, to see when we have availability for a study session to come up with
Yeah.
yearly goals.
Just a reminder, our January meeting is pushed back to the second Monday in January.
What was that?
January eighth, our
Okay.
council meeting will be pushed back due to the holiday.
Yes, and then future agenda items. All right, public comment. Is there anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council? You may do so at this time, and 3 minutes is yours. Just give us your name and address.
Hi, my name is Virgie Anderman, 305 East Main Street. I was wondering, I don't know what the process is for this, but there's Michigan Works signs that are right outside my office downtown. And I think it's because it used to be in there and that isn't where it is now. And I do think it's located maybe somewhere else in town, like behind Superior Street. So is that like a state sign? Can we move those? I don't know if we can have that relocated or not.
Signpost.
They're all
the
the
signs, yeah.
I'll put them away from it, probably
The way-
doesn't go for written down.
I'm sure you can't just pick it up and move it, but I was wondering,
Flash.
do a different arrow. So I think that might be helpful.
Well, does it have an arrow on
It has an arrow and it points right into my front door.
it? Yeah, but it being that it's a street sign, I think it's telling them to go down Cass Street.
Michigan Works used to be in the Ludington Center.
Oh.
Right on the west side,
Oh.
yeah, that's where it's
Like literally, yeah, right there. So before we come
Yeah,
in.
that's where it's, yeah.
It's out West Cass, right? You mean Michigan Works is out the senior center? Is that what Michigan Works is?
It's down, it's social.
It was,
Is it gone?
No,
Yeah.
it's down by social service.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
it's much smaller.
Yeah.
Albion Street.
Oh, okay.
Albion and Cass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it goes into senior center.
yes.
That's why I thought you turn on Cass to get to them. That's why I thought.
It's all the way
So-
in.
But it's maybe not close enough to the intersection, so people are probably stopping by your office and going,
Right, that's exactly what's happening. So it's not at the intersection, it's in the center of the block.
Sign one, this is it.
Well, we are, but.
I just got it.
Exactly. Then I did wanna, express some appreciation for the detail of the water project and the notes. I was hoping maybe the EDC could be a little more involved since we're working on land accumulation in that same area. Maybe there's a way the EDC could get involved with these regular meetings so we could stay informed and we could also support what you're trying to do. So if that's possible, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else like to stand and address council? All right, city manager report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Copy of my report was included in the packet. Just wanted to give, a few updates. So one of our 2023 production directive spending requests, is included in one of the 14 appropriation bills set to be approved by Congress. That is for the, infrastructure improvements along Dean Hogan and North Albion Street. Project requests for 2024 are anticipated to be due, mid-January, so Jane Jones, we are working with her to identify a few projects to submit, for 2024 funding. The design, meeting minutes for, I believe it's our second or third meeting for the water system improvements project, minutes are included for your reference, just to keep you up to date with that project. And just want to remind everybody that City Hall will be closed on Monday, December 25th, and Tuesday, December 26th, to observe the Christmas, holiday, and then close on Monday, January 1st, and Tuesday, January 2nd, for the New Year holiday. And, just want to shout out our fund committee and Councilmember Reed for last Thursday's holiday Christmas party. It was a fun time. I think everybody enjoyed themselves. We had good food, good games, and just we enjoyed each other's time. We did a cooking exchange, so thank you all for making that happen for us.
Any questions for City Manager Slater in regards to her report?
I have no question, but if I may, give, some recognition to some people who helped for, the party marathon gas station. These are people who gave us free gifts and gift cards and things for the games that the people played and won. It was a lot of fun. The marathon gas station, donated a $50 gift card. McDonald's gave us several, cards for the people to get, dinners and things there. Family Fair, Yellowbird, Hungry Howie's, and the Marriott gave us again a night's stay. And that was the guys were just wondering who was gonna get that one, the night stay. And the person who won it last year also won it again this year, but was kind enough to pass it on to someone. And we just want to say thank you to those companies for participating and helping us out with the gifts.
Yes, that was fun.
Awesome.
Any other council comments? Okay.
Councilman Travers, yeah, comments, okay. This is the last, this is the last meeting for 2023. It has been a very challenging year because a lot of things have happened in 2023. And I was just curious in terms of the spendings, and I'm going to read off some figures, and hopefully what we can do next year is not add to this the significantly. EDC attorney, and these are legal fees that we have paid from 1/1/19 to 12/4/23. $14,750 EDC attorney, $10,584 labor attorney, $109,344 Maple Grove attorney, special legal counsel, $1,000, 77,715, city attorney, 18,348, 750.
I hope you don't close that.
Oh.
This included a lot of, this wasn't all covered. We've had.
I thought you were talking about 1 year.
This is from 2019, okay, but the total is $326,436 that we have spent on legal fees. And I think in anyone's imagination, that's a lot of money. Some of these were necessary, some of these were not necessary, and they could have been avoided. But I'm thinking as we're going into, and I wrote a narrative that I won't read, the whole thing, but we are fiduciary, our fiduciary duty demands prudent and responsible management of resources and prioritizing the public's interests over personal or political agendas. When legal expenses are needlessly incurred through baseless inquiries, it's not only reflecting a lack of fiscal stewardship, but also undermines the trust that constituents place in our elected representatives. I'm sure all of us have received comments regarding our legal fees, what we are paying out to protect ourselves, to cover ourselves, to prove ourselves or whatever. But hopefully, as we move into 2024, we will think sometimes as whose money are we spending? You know, what are we gaining from it? And we will spend the city's money more prudently, and we can be more fiscally responsible for the money that we spend, the decisions that we make, and the chances that we take with other people's money. So just food for thought is something that I thought about in terms of being a representative of the city and spending the city's money wisely. So hopefully all of us can do that.
Councilwoman Long.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that, Councilmember Davis. I want to comment a little bit on that. With Robert's rules, code of ethics, our city charter, and our council rules, a lot of legal expenses can be deleted. So, I'm just gonna direct this to you, city manager, if you could help, for future council members, put something together with these, a little packet or something, a welcome packet that is, government property, to not destroy it or write on it and give it to, newly elected officials and let them keep it until the end of their duration. I think that will, really help with legal expenses because we all should know the rules. But sometimes we do need to go back and look at it and make sure that, we're either doing the right thing or we're doing our jobs correctly. To answer, Councilmember French's question, I just want to direct this to my precinct. They say I'm overprotective of it, but those are the people that put me there. So I think that, that I really have to talk to them. There was hours, spent hours. Lots of notebook paper, lots of ink, lots of erasing, sleepless nights doing research. And because of this, there's an old folk tale story that me and my grandfather had. He was taking us down south and I asked him, how do you know how to get down south? You have to take all these different numbers to get down to Alabama. And that's where he told me, if you can read, you can do anything. And so with this resolution, I used what my grandfather gave me because evidently education to him for women was important. And so, I do, praise my God, my grandfather, and, I think I did the right thing by what he told me to do. And by doing research, the internet has a lot of it, and it took a lot of time. So with that being said, I did what my grandfather told me to do, read, and I can do anything I want. Thank you so much, Ms. Mayor.
Attorney Hartness.
Just to give council a heads up, since the next meeting got rescheduled to the, second meeting second Monday in January, the assistant city attorney would be here for that meeting, for that to be at a different city. And since it's the beginning of the year, I'm sure Lars will have his hair extra high. But aside from that, I do want to just wish mayor and council a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Same to you, thank you.
Any other comments on the calendar? Resolution to adjourn. So moved. Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned, 8:39 p.m.